Hello, this is Cynthia Sue Larson with RealityShifters.com, and today I'd like to talk with you about something very special and near and dear to my heart, which is the subject of happiness and how this is something much more accessible to all of us than we often realize. So there's a secret that I'd like to share with you today, and it's one of those secrets that's hidden right in plain sight. We all have access to it. Sometimes we don't realize that we do. So it's a simple concept, but sometimes a little bit challenging to implement. It's the kind of thing that is best learned when you experience it or when you're with someone who can see the world in that way. That's something I do as a spiritual life coach, is help people understand that they can view something happening in their lives from a very different point of view than they've ever seen it before. And there are many ways to do that, of course. But today what I'd like to share with you is a story from my childhood. When I was a young girl, I would often visit my grandmother with my sister. And so my sister and I were one day in the kitchen at my grandmother's house. She was making an angel food cake for us, which smelled phenomenal. The cake was just a batter at that point. She was stirring up the liquid ingredients, pouring them into the very special angel food cake pan, and getting ready to put it in the oven. So she was about to pick it up, and she put one hand underneath that very special two-part pan, lifted up, and I witnessed something shocking as I saw the batter running down her arm as the two parts of the pan separated. And she laughed, and she said, "Oh, fiddlesticks." I'll never forget that. I remember just being so surprised that something so upsetting could be happening, yet she could find joy and love and happiness even in that moment. And I did ask her later what was the reason that she laughed and how could she be so relaxed. And she wasn't really sure, but she did know one thing, that she was really happy that my sister and I were there with her. And she really felt truly blessed that we were there with her all together, the three of us. So she was choosing to be happy by just stepping back, ignoring the smaller problem, and seeing a bigger picture that encompassed a much happier situation that she could be very, very happy about. So this is something we can all do. It's right there in front of us. It's something I like to do with people when I'm doing life coaching, of course, but all of us can learn to master this simple, very simple choice. And one of the steps to getting to that place where we can step back and see something from a big picture point of view is practicing meditation, and is practicing ways of always viewing our life from a different point of view than we normally do. Just stepping back a little bit, observing the person who's having the feelings. And in that moment, we can then choose to be happy. It really can be that simple. And this is something that a lot of people are tracking now with the gross national happiness, which is something that's a measure of a nation's productivity in terms of happy people. And then there's also the happiness index, where peoples of different countries are compared to see which peoples are happier than others. This is a very subjective field, and it's not yet standardized. So, for example, some countries can say, we're the happiest, and it's open to some discussion at this point. But for our purposes, I'd like you to be thinking about my favorite question, which is, how good can it get? And I'm going to add something to it today. I'd like you to think about how good can it get when you choose to be happy. This is Cynthia Sue Larson with RealityShifters.com.